Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jennifer Jefferies, the present-day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those who are wanting to really rock their lives and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. I'm curious, what do you read mostly? Do you read fiction or do you read non-fiction books? Me? I swear I've read non-fiction books for, my gosh, the majority of my life. I've never really been into fiction books, I just haven't. I've really had a hunger my whole life to want to learn stuff. I've wanted to learn about other people. So I've been really big on autobiographies. I have read so many amazing leaders' stories and just people. I love that kind of stuff to the max. And just learning stuff, I can't help it. And then the self-help world came along and it was like, oh my gosh, there's so much I can just learn about life. And I've been on this treadmill for, honestly, the majority of my life. I've only ever read nonfiction books. About 3 years ago, when I did a Marianne Williamson's women's retreat in Los Angeles, I made a correction. So this was a workshop that was all about bringing forward your feminine energy. Now, it was about bringing forward your feminine energy across your work life, across your relationships, and also what we bring to the world, what we can do for the world, how we can help the world. And that's my thing. I have to leave the world in a better place. It's like a driver that's in me. I can't stop it. I just want to leave it in a better place. I want to do my bit for the planet. And so Marianne Williamson was really, she really dove into, what the difference was between masculine and feminine energy. Now, I've been driven by masculine energy most of my life, and I really only understood the difference of masculine energy versus feminine energy at Marianne Williamson's retreat. Now, masculine energy is the doing energy. It's the do. It's the driven, achieve kind of energy, where feminine energy is all about being, and just you can achieve so much more when you're in more of the being versus the doing. Now, you still have to do. It's about a balance of both. But where I've had such a strength and achieved so much in my life, being in my masculine, being in that, that driven kind of mode my whole life, at the same time, it's been out of balance. And so a huge change I brought to my life. And this might challenge some of you guys as well. I know it challenged me, but I just finished a book this morning and I thought, I'm just going to speak into this because it's been a big challenge for me, but I've really enjoyed it at the same time. So when I was just doing all the time, being driven, masculine energy, it was great and I achieved, but it was all part of me burning out. And they say that you teach what you need to learn in life. Well, I've needed to learn how to balance that male and female energy, my doing versus my being, so that I don't burn out again. It's big. So Marianne challenged us to read fiction books. And I'm going, fuck no, I don't want to read fiction. I don't want to read fiction. Not only read fiction, it was also about doing audiobooks. I'm going, I don't want to do that. I'm a visual kinesthetic person. I'm not the auditory person. And so for me, to listen to books I knew would be a challenge, and listen to fiction, I'm going like, no, I don't want to do that. It was like, but I live by the rule. As you know, I've shared in previous podcasts. So I live by the rule that if it's hard to do, it's all the more reason to do it. And I knew my driver. I knew my masculine driven vibe is out of balance. I part of it comes from, I remember when I was a kid, my dad would say, Jen, you rest when everything's done. Guys, everything's never done. And so it's been easier for me to keep achieving and drive than it's been for me to be. Now, I absolutely have balance and I have downtime and I go for quality over quantity, and I'm really good at switching off and just being. However, my day-to-day kind of operation has been more masculine driven. And I'm not talking male, female energy. I'm talking that masculine, feminine vibe. And so for me, I've really consciously been working on ways to raise my feminine energy. I'm not doing the girly energy. It's not that. It's that essence of life, feminine energy. I've really consciously been working on that for the last 3 years to bring it more into my life. Now, reading fiction books and listening to fiction books more than reading has absolutely been number one. That was the place I started. So I thought I'd share a couple of other ways that I've been working with that I learned from Marianne Williamson. And look, there's nothing new. There's not rocket science, guys, but bringing it to your attention can make the difference. So the very first one is to start listening to audiobooks, but fiction books. Pick your realm. I've gone into some really cool kind of mythical kind of books and stuff, and it's been fun. And part of that is that your feminine energy is your creative energy. It is, it's your creative energy. And so that's big. I struggled with creative for years because I thought creative meant you had to paint amazing paintings, which is not my thing. But I realized that my creativity, and I've realized this years ago, but my creativity comes out in my writing. I've written a bunch of books and I love writing and sharing information, but also in my gardening. They're my creative kind of release areas. Through listening to fiction books, without a doubt, that creative buzz in my brain has grown so much and I've really enjoyed it. So that's one, start listening to fiction books. There you go. The next one is to tune in and slow down. So it is, the feminine energy is that being just settled. Now I did it this morning. I hopped up and the first thing I did was I went out and I did a lap in my yard but I've done this for a long time. I really chat to nature. I'm big on talking to my plants. I talk to my plants, guys. I love on my plants. They are a living being and it's real. And that's part of why my garden is so prolific. It's because I put that vibe in there, but it's that caring, nurturing, femme kind of vibe. So if you are that go fast all the time, and I'm a go fast, holy shit, I am your textbook ADHD kind of chick. They didn't have names for us back in the day, but that's it. That's my vibe. But I know how to balance it out. So I consciously, for me, walking my garden and taking time, touch every plant. That is a way that I've always done more, probably good 15 or probably 20 years. I've definitely tuned into plants. So that's one, probably 30 years, probably my whole life. Actually, I get that from my mum. That's one. Another one for raising feminine energy is to remember to do your self-care, to really nurture yourself. So even for me, one of the things I love to do is I love to bath more than shower. And I've talked about that in a previous one. I love to use all the oils and they go, I just love soaking in a steaming hot bath, just with all the aromas around me. That is a little something that I can do even on a daily basis, just to nurture myself. And that helps to raise that feminine energy. Now, there's lots more for raising feminine energy, but for me, they're the main ones that I've been able to do to really help bring that through. And did I squirm when I first started listening to audiobooks and fiction books? That's bloody oath I did. I really did. It was so uncomfortable for me, but I know how it's been really beneficial for me. And as I finished this book this morning, I thought I need to talk about this because this is something very real. So I want to leave you with just a few healthy life hacks today. Number one is to start, reading, but preferably listening on audiobooks to fiction books, but don't just listen to them. Let yourself get lost in them. Number two, healthy life hack number two is to notice when you're in that doing mode, doing. Stop, breathe, tune in, bring yourself back into balance and bring up that feminine energy. And then number three is to remember to do self-care. Do something daily that nurtures your spirit. Now go for quality over quantity. If you're in a busy life and kids and work and all that kind of stuff, that's okay. 1% of your day is 15 minutes. I talked about that in a previous podcast. Spend 1% of today nurturing yourself and your spirit. That's it, guys. If you want to grab the show notes, head over to healthylifehacks.com.au. And in the next episode, I'm going to be talking about not being a crap magnet. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review where you're listening in from. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. If you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below and join my newsletter and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails, and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.